Hey everyone, today I'm going to be running through a kinesiology tape or KT tape, K-tape application for low back pain. Now obviously low back pain can present in a variety of forms. It can be more sinister, things like cancers, fractures, space occupying lesions or growths. You can have disc injuries, but then it could also just be muscular, joint, or a sensitivity in that lower back region. So if you have back pain, you haven't had it assessed, and it is causing you notable discomfort, go and see your local healthcare practitioner and get it assessed, get it looked into. If this is a niggly thing, if it's something minor that you've dealt with before, if it's something that has been assessed and it's something that's not significant or needs further follow-up or anything else to be addressed, then this can be of benefit to you. Now, it should be noted, this isn't treating the injury. It's not going to help tissue heal faster. It's not addressing muscular fatigue. It's not helping muscle to function better. It's not supporting the joints. Now, I know that seems like it's not doing anything, but it has a strong effect on pain, and that's our target today. We're not looking to use the tape to heal the structures. We're not using the tape to fix or inhibit or facilitate muscle contraction, and we're not using it for posture. The idea of this tape is purely pain relief, and the way it's going to have that effect, ideally and theoretically, is through the sensory input into the skin and therefore into our nervous system. So our idea is using this tape to give our nervous system some sort of input to have an effect on our pain. So if you think that can be of benefit to you, if it can be useful for your low back pain, then this is a great application for that. Now, today I'm going to be using rock tape. You can use any form of kinesiology tape, rock tape, dynamic tape, kinesio tape, KT tape, huge variety of tape available on the market. The type you use doesn't really matter. They're different qualities of fabric, different quality of adhesive. At the end of the day, they're the same thing. It just depends on how well the manufacturer has produced that product. So as I said, I'm going to use a rock tape today. I've got a blue one. The colors don't mean anything. You can use black, blue, beige, pink, green, any of your favorite colors. The color's not going to have an effect on adhesive or quality. It's just a color. So with this blue tape, I'm going to show you how to apply simple 2 eye strips vertically along those erector spinae or paraspinal postural muscles with the aim of reducing pain in the back, or at least helping to reduce that pain. Now, I've got another elastoplast version of kinesiology tape here, because on the back of this one you might see I have 1 centimeter increment lines and 5 centimeter marked lines where they are thicker. So something like elastoplast, where they have measurements on the back of the tape, super easy to cut and be nice and specific with it. Now, KT tape doesn't, not KT tape, rock tape doesn't have that. They have markings, they have inspirational quotes and words, so it's a little trickier to measure this the way you want it without using a ruler, but you can either use a ruler if you want a specific measurement, or we can just measure it to the area that we're going to apply it. So normally on a lower back application, I'll probably use 25 centimeter strips, and I'll do 2 of those running vertically along that tissue. For the sake of this video, we're going to assume 25 centimeters, and we're going to work from that. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cut 2 eye strips, just straight strips at roughly 25 centimeters long. So I've pulled this out here. I'm going to cut straight across that backing paper, roughly around that 25 centimeter mark. So we're going to go ahead and cut across there now. And then I'm going to cut a second one at the same length. So in terms of rock tape, I'm just going to lay it over the other one and then cut that tape roughly where that one measures to. So pop that one down. All right, so we've got 2 eye strips here, roughly 25 centimeters long each, and I'm going to go ahead and round those corners. So to do that, I'm just going to fold over onto itself, and then I'm going to round off those corners. So we're just going to nip that corner off, and we're going to tidy that corner up. So this will help it catch less on clothing. Nice rounded corners catch less than sharp square corners. So we're going to round each of those corners of the tape so we get less catching on, in this case, shorts and shirts and underwear or active wear. So now we should have 2 eye strips. So the first thing we're going to do is apply one of these on the low back. So excuse me while I turn around, you are going to see my lower back for this, for a good reason, of course. First thing we're going to do before I remove that before we apply that, is we're going to move our backing paper out of the way. So when we're tearing, or when we remove the backing paper, we don't want to peel it from the corner. That's a good way for you to touch the adhesive and for it to stick less effectively on the skin. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to tear that backing paper. So roughly 1.5 inches or 5 centimeters from one end, we're going to take that backing paper and we're going to tear straight across so we can expose that adhesive surface. And I'm going to remove that 5 centimeter piece of tape. So now we've got an anchor that we can apply on the skin. So be careful not to touch that adhesive. The more you touch it, the more your oils in your skin and dirt will stick onto that adhesive. It's not going to stick as well to your skin. So try not to touch it when you've got that adhesive exposed. We're going to go straight onto skin. Now when I turn around, it is a little bit tricky to apply this to yourself on your back. Obviously we can't see it well, and even in a mirror it's not overly easy. So we're going to have to use our hands to figure out where we want to be, but I'll guide you for that. So bear with me, I'm going to spin around and I'm going to get my lower back, and we're going to try and apply this K-tape as neatly as possible on that lower back. So first thing I'm going to do, I am going to lift my shirt up. So excuse me, or my singlet. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take that application and we're going to apply it in the lower back, roughly where that pelvis is. It's going to actually roll onto the top of the glute muscles. So we're going to sit on one side and we're going to be running it along the length of the spine on one side, just to the side of center. So we want to start that anchor just to one side of center, roughly just off where the center of our the separation between our glutes, our crack, basically. We're going to sit just to one side of that. So I'm going to take that strap, I'm going to line it up where I want it to be, and I'm going to have that anchor start down on my lower back around that pelvis, and I'm going to get that tape where I want it to sit so I know that strip's going to run up my back. Then I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to tear about 5 centimeters from one end. I'm going to remove that backing paper, trying not to touch that adhesive, and I'm going to apply it on the other side of my low back. So same thing, we're going to get roughly where we want to be. Let's say we're going to measure where these are. I'm going to pop that one down on the lower back and then stick it just below the line of my shorts. So I've got 2 strips anchored on my lower back. All right. So we can rub that adhesive so that we can start getting it to adhere to the skin. Being a heat activated adhesive, it does stick better with some friction. So giving it a gentle rub, and we're going to do more of that when we apply it up the back. So the next thing we're going to do is apply the strip up the back, but we want the skin or the tissues to be on a little bit of stretch for that. Reason being, when we stand back up or come backwards, the skin's going to come back to its natural position and we should get some wrinkling or lifting in that tape. And that's what provides most of that sensory input through the skin. So we want the back to be on a bit of stretch. So we're going to flex forward or bend forwards as comfortable as possible, and we're going to apply that tape. We're not going to add any tension to the tape. So I'm going to apply what's called paper off tension. As I remove that backing paper, I'm going to lay down the tape with a finger. I'm going to try and follow those muscles up the back. So again, bear with me, I'm going to turn around and let's apply these strips. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to find a little bit of that backing paper and just lift it up away from the tape so I can get that backing paper away from the skin. Now what I'm going to do is lay that first section. I'm going to use my hands as a guide so I can follow the muscles of my back, bending forwards and applying that strip of tape up my back, trying to follow that tissue. Now, ideally, we're going to run this over the area of discomfort or the level of discomfort, but we're running it parallel to the spine, up as far as it wants to go, and then we're going to give it a rub once we've got that tape applied. Now, when I sit up, if I've done this correctly, I should have some wrinkling in that tape. So as we sit up here, I've got that tape lifting up and I've got some wrinkles in the tape and skin. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side now. So I'll just lift this up for us. So starting on this side, I'm going to find that backing paper again. I'm going to find the spine and I'm going to use that as a guide as I move up the back, laying down that tape as we go. No additional stretch on the tape, just laying it down as I remove the paper backing. Once I get to the top, I'm going to remove that, lay down the top section and give it a rub. So now I should have 2 strips of tape running up the back, working over those tissues, and you can see they're anchored down here. Give them a good rub to get that adhered. And that's a simple application for lower back pain. Now, just getting my singlet back on. What we can do in that situation, if we've got a large back, a big rugby player, a heavier set person, we can apply 2 strips on either side of the spine. Try to have the tape on skin and not overlapping too much, as it does stick better to skin. But you can double up in that situation. You can also put horizontal strips across. Now, if we're doing a horizontal strip, the way we want to apply that, bear with me for a second, is we're probably going to cut, again, a 25 centimeter strip. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. I don't usually use the H piece, the horizontal crossbar, if you wish, which I would apply over the level of pain. So we'd have those vertical strips, and then say we had a section of pain in that mid section of the lower back, we could apply this strip across there. It's not necessary, but it might provide additional relief. If you were to cut another 25 centimeter strip, the way you would apply that is you would tear the paper backing through the center. You would peel away the middle sort of 10 to 15 centimeters of that strip. We would hold it either side, stretching that tape across. Because we can't get horizontal stretch on the tissues, we're going to stretch the tape. So we would apply some stretch to the tape straight across that level of pain and then lay down those ends with no tension and give that a rub. So the middle section of the tape would have stretch in that situation. Now, once again, I don't typically use the horizontal one, but you will find some videos online that use a H sort of design. The vertical strips are fine. I've used it a lot in the past for low back pain. Usually it's just mechanical muscular stiffness in the back, and it works fairly well. I can go and train at the gym, I can deadlift, I can do any sort of back training or squats or whatever. It makes it more comfortable. So if you've got a significant issue, if you've got a more serious issue and it hasn't been diagnosed, make sure you get that checked out, get it looked into and sorted. If it's something that's familiar to you, or it's been assessed and it's something minor that you're having addressed, or it's resolving, you can use this sort of application to make daily activity more comfortable, or even training if you're in sport or exercise more comfortable. So I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, let me know. And also, if you can, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that might benefit from this application. I'll see you guys soon.